right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 52, and we're trying Belching Beaver Brewery's Beav Light.
Ooh, dude, I like the way you took it so slow for fear of messing it up and me chastising you as many times as I have in the past.
Yeah.
I think you nailed that one. Belching Beef. Look at me.
Look at that.
Belching Beaver Brewery Beav Light American Lager. Back in the saddle, boys and girls.
Yeah, it's quite the tongue twister.
No, but I mean,
That's for sure.
also, oh, for sure. That's too many What is that called? Not an onomatopoeia, but
A tongue twister?
no. There's like a shit. I'm gonna have to Google it now. But there's like a that when you use so many of the same consonant sounds back to back. It might be with vowels too, but an iteration. I don't know. I'm gonna Google it. But there's a grammatic term that's used in poetry, and being the resident poet for the episode,
Yeah,
I
right.
should know this. But I'll look it up. But there's too many B's in a row.
Yeah,
But no, I was saying.
Belching Beaver Brewery Beav Light. They
Um,
should have added. They should have made it something else instead of light, like Beav Blonde. You know, that would have been a real tongue getter right there.
I don't know. This Google's just telling me consonant cluster, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'll figure out for the folks that are listening what I was referring to. But no, I was saying back in the saddle because we took a week off.
Yeah,
But we'll get to that in a minute. Shall we crack?
yeah. Let's get into it. So like Seven said, it's an American lager, coming in at 4.2% ABV, and there was no IBUs online. So we'll see.
Oh man,
Does she rip hard?
dude, it smells like a 1960s frat house coming out of a can.
Oh no.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's just. Oh
I
man.
can't get a good whiff. It's hard for me to get a
Ooh,
whiff.
I think I have a. Ooh, I'm gonna be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, it does.
You know what
Yeah,
this sound?
it's rich.
Honest,
It's rich.
like I haven't tasted it yet, except I licked some off the side of the can, which is weird now that I'm thinking about it. But dude, what's crazy is, dude, this reminds me of it doesn't really tie into my WWYBD, which I've already come up with, but this one immediately reminds me of like a beer that you lifted off your old man, but you had to like hide it for a while, so it went from cold to like hot, and then later you chilled it back off when you and the boys got together. Or
Yeah.
maybe you just drank it hot, like out of somebody's toolbox or somebody's backpack or something.
Hmm.
That's the vibes I get from the smell of the can. That's why I said it
Yeah.
sounded like smelled like a 1960s frat house.
Yeah, it does very much smell like a beer that was cold, hot, and then cold again at least once. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
I mean,
Maybe
but that
multiple
okay.
times.
And I know that a lot of people right out of the gate are going to be like, "Oh, that's terrible." And there's like people that have hard and fast rules against that. I'm not one of them, but
No. In
yeah.
fact, I think there's some beers out there that taste better after that's done.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone's well aware that I'm a man that enjoys a good bit of skunkiness, and I think that
Yeah.
attributes to some skunkiness. So it
Hmm.
doesn't bother me at all.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm going to say probably the first 150 Bush Lights I ever drank were that. They were like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty impressed on my initial taste here. It's pretty good. I think it's very crisp and delicious.
Oh yeah. And dude, I'm so glad that it shored up my WWYBD. Like
Just immediately.
yeah, because I smelled the can and I was like, oh God, I know exactly what this is. And honestly, mine's more of like I've already done it, but I would be doing it again with it. I guess that's kind of somewhat how WWIBDs work. But after tasting it, it just
Mm.
solidified it. I was like, oh, there's a risk that like maybe my nose is misleading and my taste buds are going to tell me you can't be doing that while you're drinking this. But if anything, it just solidly shored it up.
Right. Well, I don't know if your WWYBD plays into this as well, or is being affected by this as well. But the we always get into the can talk a little bit, but the design of this can, we talked a little bit before the episode started here. It looks like a college uh mascot design, or like a college intramural softball league frisbee golf team, you know,
Yeah.
the Belching Beavers.
Frisbee, yeah, Frisbee golf, ultimate Frisbee. This is just their beer of choice.
Their sponsor.
Dude, yeah, it's also blows my mind. I mean, I know obviously there's a bunch of different people that are working for these organizations, but like this to me looks like it could have been like a mass comm majors like one-off like 101 semester project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very much. It kind of looks like I don't remember if it was Bud Light or like man, it wasn't Miller. I know it wasn't Miller, so it had to have been Bud Light. But like they had those cans in like the late '90s, early 2000s. I feel like that. You know
Oh, that
the yellow not necessarily is the same, but like the blue background and stuff that's on this can reminds me
oh
a
that was
lot of that.
that was Miller Lite for sure.
It
Remember?
was
Because they,
Miller Lite. They did
yeah,
have a
man.
blue can for a while, didn't they?
That's when I started drink. You know, when I started drinking Miller Lite, they were going through their like blue and silver and red and yellow phase of Miller
Hmm.
Lite. There was a couple of different iterations that were in there, but yeah, all the cans and all the bottles. They had the. We actually talked about this past weekend too. They had like the Twister Vortex
Oh
neck.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. The thing that never stuck.
yeah, but I mean, but yeah, the branding was blue at that point, and it does have a similar blue. I think the yellow's a little richer. The yellows preaches to me like upper Midwest football program, but but yeah, that so Miller Lite would have been the branding I think you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. This like lettering and stuff looks a lot like if you've ever seen Blue Mountain State. It's what
Yeah,
I imagine. It's what I imagine that they're drinking in that. You know what I mean? Like
I
this
agree.
is such a simple and classy and like I hate to use the word generic, but it's like a generic looking design almost that would be in like TV shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like on a sitcom or like in a movie, if there was like a beer that town was partial for, but they couldn't use a name brand,
Yeah.
like this is what it would be.
It's like I forget what all the TV show like Workaholics used a certain beer back in the day and I forget what it was. But there was a few different shows that used it and I can't remember.
It's like this is a very like if there was a live action version of King of the Hill, this might be what they drank.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good though.
It is.
It's
It's pretty
dang
good.
good. I'm pleasantly surprised. So this place has I was telling you four different locations, which I've never seen out of a craft brewery before. Uh,
Like are they are you mentioned they were in California, which we didn't even get to the stats. I think we should do that in a minute, but um or did we get to the stats?
well, no, I
No, we
said
didn't get to
4.2 ABV.
Okay, so on the can that is hidden here but validated. I'm gonna say that it's validated. I saw that somewhere, but I don't know where it is now. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, I have no idea.
Hmm.
Hey,
Well,
by the
yeah.
way, it's unfiltered and unpasteurized.
Okay.
So most canned beers are pasteurized. The filtering obviously could be one way or the other. But yeah, and I mean for those that are really into the carb game, if you're trying to double down on the carbs, each can contains 9, so that's pretty good.
Oh, wait,
Mm.
that's not bad.
Well, I mean it's not like alcohol like non-alcoholic beers are like 13, but 9 carbs is pretty. I mean for I guess not for like a full-bodied lager, but for a Beav Light or a light lager, I think that's compared to those that are out
Hmm.
rocking and rolling mainstream, that's pretty heavy.
Oh, well,
Oh, definitely.
I've been misled a lot.
Yeah, it is a 4.2 on the can. That's cool.
Okay, so we're even
It's
across the board there.
yeah, it's very discreet. Where their independent craft like the independent craft emblem is. I knew I saw it when I looked earlier, but yeah, it's kind of discreet on the can.
Okay. Yeah, so four different locations. There's well, maybe. Okay, so their brew house is in Oceanside, California. Then they have a tavern and grill in Vista, California. And then Pub 980 I don't know if this is just like locations that they are available, but this is all as their locations on their website, and that's in Vista, California as well. And then they have a tasting room in San Diego.
I wonder if somebody else is distributing them because I mean we picked them up like generically in like at an eight like at a grocery store.
Yeah, in Texas.
Yeah,
So I don't
I
know.
just get
And this is a limited release, which kind of blew my mind a little bit.
yeah it would
This seems like something that would definitely be a year round thing.
yeah it would be like you know obviously Anheuser Busch has Busch, Budweiser, Bud Light like those are staples and you can see why there's like very relation to the sister overarching org.
Mm.
Beav Light sounds like it should be the foundation and the
The
you know
Belching Beaver.
yeah the mothership of the Belching Beaver.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
wonder if I wonder if it's brewed seasonally for like sports. I know that we keep tying back to that same underlying theme of marketing because of the colors and all, but I wonder what it's brewed for. I would be interested in knowing that if it is a seasonal. Or you said
Yeah,
limited or seasonal.
it's a limited.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they're just do it. Maybe it's test market, dude. Sometimes you got to do a little R&D dabbling. You never
I
know.
guess, man. Um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't say
Damn.
anything on their website about it being for a seasonal thing. That
They are
doesn't mean
not
that
going
it
to be.
can't, but
They are not going to be pleased with my WWYBD if they're looking for unsolicited like test market feedback. I'll tell you that.
I, I don't know whether I should be scared or not.
No. It's just very specific. I don't find myself drinking this outside of that because in my head, it's the only thing I can see myself doing.
Oh man, yeah, that's it. I could see myself drinking this in a few different scenarios.
Yeah, but like for some reason, I don't know if again when we get there, it'll make sense. But yeah, for some reason, it just ties me to a very specific seasonal, give or take, event.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Belching Beaver is living up to its name already because the belches are here quick.
I will say that again. I don't want to allude to any type of scoring. I am getting some pretty. Got some pretty good belches right off the bat, and I think that they're going to be fruitful throughout. However,
Yeah.
did not. I'm not down on it at all because it's a good beer, but it did not hold any of its head or any of its foam or
Mm,
any of it. Now
really?
I'm drinking it out of a glass, but yeah, it dissipated almost immediately. It was very thin, and it doesn't have like a foaminess or a creaminess in the mouth at all. I know it's a lager, but still.
Oh, is that well? Listen, I haven't had Bud Light in I don't know how long. But is it like a Bud Light in that sense? Because I don't ever remember Bud Light's heads being thick or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that.
but even like a Miller Lite or Bud Light, whatever, whenever you pull it into your mouth, like there's always still that like foaminess that's in there, right?
Mm, okay.
This doesn't seem to have it. It's not flat by any means. It just doesn't have like a real thick back of the mouth foam. Yeah, you're gonna have to get the visual by watching to get that.
It doesn't
Like
doesn't
you'll know
really like
exactly.
doesn't really like coat the teeth.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't like fill the void of air that's left in your mouth when you fill your mouth up with liquid. I don't know how to put that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are gonna understand that, but nonetheless, I
It's
could
just
draw a diagram, but that would be awkward.
yeah. Well, I don't know if we really have time for that either. I keep wanting to go back for more though.
Also, I agree. I do. I am going back. I think I'm damn near through the first pint, or at least through the first 12 ounces. Not a big fan of the abbreviation of words though. So
Beeve.
strike it. Yeah. Or any word. Like
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, that's my fave." No, that's your favorite or you really don't like it that much.
yeah.
And it just irks me. Always has, always will. So I'd rather it be called, the Belch Light or the
Or
Beaver
the
Light or
Beaver
whatever
Light. Yeah, it's also as far I mean, I haven't done like a huge deep dive into their beers like all of them, but from the things that I have seen, it's the only one that's like named
after the
like
Beaver.
after a beaver, yeah. Like everything else, like they have a must be the honey blonde, and then they have one that's just peanut butter milk stout. I respect it, but I just, if you're gonna build a brand called the Belching Beaver, man,
Yeah.
there's some good things to be had there. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
100%.
You got to play into the wood and whatnot, and the dam building. Now, obviously, their slogan is "damn good time" or something.
Damn good times, but is that on every can or just this one?
Um, I don't
Dude,
see it on these ones, but they do have a damn good 12 pack, so that's good. I mean, that's a good marketing scheme there.
oh,
Um,
hey, by the way, I was right. It's called an alliteration. It's the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words.
I'm glad we figured that out.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but it was eating me alive, and it came to light after you said beaver and brew and belching and beef light. Um, carry on. Sorry, back to what you were explaining. So
Well,
they
I
just yeah.
do what?
No, I was just saying, like so this is the first time that they're actually playing on their overarching mascot, and we
Yeah,
cannot confirm and or deny if "damn good times" is their slogan throughout, but they have a damn good 12 pack.
yeah, they have a damn good 12 pack. I mean, there's a beaver on every can, but like they have a beer here called the Fall of Troy, and it's just
Mm.
a beaver with a Trojan helmet on. I mean,
They're
it's
just dressing
cool.
them up, however.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I just feel like they could slide some more puns in there. Have a little bit of
Oh,
fun
yeah.
with it. Um Man.
Dude, also too, what's crazy to me, again, if you're looking at the branding on every other can, way more awesome than this one. Does
Oh
that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah. This one's
Dude,
like
like
super generic like we said.
they almost have, I'm a sucker for American traditional anything, but they almost have like an American traditional illustrated play on many different things. There's one that seemed like the Phantom Bride IPA is kind of like a what do you call that? I know that that's not the one that we're including today, but since we're diving deep,
It's like
it's
that like Dia de los Muertos.
yeah, Dia de los Muertos play.
Yeah,
They
it's
got
really cool.
the Hazer's gonna haze, and that's like graffiti art for the street. I mean, that's actually
Like a
pretty
brick
clever.
wall. That is pretty cool.
So I wonder why, if this is a limited, um, why is Texas getting this and not some of the other staples that they seem to be building their brand on?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who
But
knows?
hopefully we get some more. I'd be down to try some more of these for sure.
They also have dabbled into hard seltzers as well.
Yep. Yes, I saw that. I was going to mention that, but I know you're not a huge fan, so.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I mean they're going crazy and their cans are wicked cool. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually super disappointed in. I mean the beer inside is great and that's what counts. I don't give a shit what's wrapped around the outside of it. You could give it to me. You know what a pagoda bag is?
No.
Dude, I think it's like a leather sack with like a little like a like tip on it and people fill it full of water and they fill it full of like you keep it with you when you're camp. Like it's like a canteen of back in the day. It was like a gut or a sack that they filled with like water. It was made out of leather. Anyways, the point I was trying to make was is that you could put it in a pagoda bag, and if it tasted like this, then I would drink it. But we are by far striking out on the creative can for this particular variation.
Yeah. I don't hate it, but it's not as creative as it could be,
No,
for sure, especially looking at their other stuff. So send us some more of that other stuff out to Texas if anyone from the Belching Beaver is listening.
yeah, I didn't pay attention. I don't know if there was anything else available. Was this the first thing that we just came across, or
Well, it's the only thing I saw, but
oh,
I
I also
guess I
wasn't
guess
paying attention?
yeah, maybe also I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, man, they're just you know, and somewhat of a pun here, building a dam and keeping the beers away from us,
That's what it is.
you know? Those dang
Uh,
beavers, man.
I'm gonna plant some pun seeds, but I'm not sure that I could really send this one home. Sometimes I'm on a roll, but I don't know if I could do that today.
Mm.
Beaver, well, I mean, at least appropriately. That one's gonna be very difficult to pun throughout the rest of the episode, but I'll try.
Well, the damn good time is the best pun available for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
You
a
know.
damn good beer. Damn, damn shitty branding. Good lord, with the alliterations, with the B's and the B's and the B's and the D's.
Yeah, I've rubbed off on you in a not a great way.
No.
This was my shtick. You can't take it.
Well, I'm fallen into it by, I'm a victim by circumstance, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, we
Oh,
did want to talk a little bit here about how absolutely disruptive beavers are in every
oh yeah,
sense of the word.
dude. They're, the way that I would define the beaver is basically it's nature's inconvenient construction worker. I don't, being in Texas, especially in H Town, we've lived our lives with road construction. But can you imagine just like being another animal in life? You're just chilling in this river and you're like, dude, this is fucking slamming. This river is so fruitful for me. It's a killer river. People are passing by. I get everything that I need. And all of a sudden, fucking river just dries up, dude. Like your family has to abandon it, your food source goes away, your water source for that matter, or the water gets stagnant because that's kind of gross too. And it's
Hmm.
because upstream, some asshole who was running a whole crew was just like, I don't like water to flow because that's how I'm predispositioned. And so
Yeah.
he just builds himself a fucking massive stop to everybody else's happiness. That's basically what he's doing. Think about how selfish the beaver is. He's
Oh,
like, this water, no, not a fan of it flowing. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stop that for me. Nothing else benefits from that in nature.
mhm.
Like, we do them as humans because we need to salvage the water. But
Yeah.
a beaver, dude, his cup runneth over, and then he builds a dam, so it really runneth over, and that's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not. The beavers aren't creating energy out of it like we are. We still might be messing up the ecosystem a little bit, but not that bad.
Also, I don't know why we should have probably Googled this. I don't know why they're building dams, like, because they kind of live in them, right? Like underwater, they like store their food and shit in them. Like,
Hmm.
can't they just do that without restricting the flow? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they've done so many tests. Well, I say they, like humans, we have done so many tests on animals and like how they think and stuff. Has anybody decided to test a beaver and understand if it really is just them waking up and being like, that flowing water, not gonna flow anymore. No, sir.
No.
No, sirree. Not on my watch.
Also, I'm sure this has already been played to as like an animated series, but how easy would that be to write like a full hour or to 2 hours on? Just a dad comes in from work. Like, think about this. Beaver dad strolls in from work, throws his lunch pail down. Again, construction theme. Throws his metal lunch pails down, and he's like, since the beginning of time, we could not stand the flow of water, and my family won't stand for it. Because obviously this day and age, like the whole city would be very progressive. It's a bunch of beavers, and they're like, a little flow is okay. And he's like, damn it, I won't stand for it.
Yeah,
And
he's got a young beaver son that's friends with the deer downstream.
yeah, wants to go off and educate the forest or some shit. And his
Yeah.
dad is like the blue collar, like, we cannot let this happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just see that being fairly easy. Like, we just wrote like 25 minutes of the show right there. A couple
Hmm.
of scenes. There's a montage where the kids like trying to figure out why they do what they do, and the whole time the dad's peeking in the door, making sure his son's not doing some shady business with other animals because the beavers stand for themselves. We could go on for a long time. The point I'm
Hmm.
trying to make here is that um I really wish we could understand why the hell is the beaver's predisposition to not like flowing water.
Yeah, I would
Or
like to
why
know
they
that
can't
as well.
just build them out in the middle of the water, like without it screwing up the flow.
Yeah.
There's probably a scientific reason.
Or just rearranging the flow. Maybe just not
Yeah.
stopping it altogether. But yeah, I think Disney should get all over that, quite honestly. Or Pixar, I guess is Disney technically. What's the other one? The Illumination. Is that the one that?
Illumination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should get all over that. There's been so many animated movies. Well, I say so many, but there's definitely been animated movies that do have beavers in them, but they're never the main story,
No,
you know?
and we need it to really be like kind of not like not in depth, but we kind of need it to be like Animal Farmish. Like there has to be so many underlying themes that align with like society that it makes it fruitful for. Look, why are we always giving away our good ideas? It
Yeah, I
has to be
know.
has to be fruitful for like adults so that they're like, oh, that is how society is working and inflation and all these whatever. We could check all these other boxes. But then the kids need to be like, oh, that's funny because this beaver kid is fighting with his beaver dad because he wants him to go into dam building, but he has bigger dreams of selling paintings or something.
And
Whatever.
think about the adult comedy that could be made in that with the puns, right?
Oh,
With the
dude.
damn puns.
Dam, beaver, a lot of
Yeah,
puns. A
well,
lot of puns.
yeah, that's just two of them that I can think of right now, but there's plenty. I promise you.
Dude,
Um,
so there's really no. I mean, this is a quick Google here. I mean, I'm running through like National Park Service and Wiki, of course, but like honestly, there's really no reason. Like they basically they build the dam across a stream so that they can basically provide protection from predators, right? But I feel like if you built it in the middle of the stream,
it
just
would be
as effective.
better. That'd probably be better
Yeah, you could have a castle that's built on a hillside where everyone could flank your ass, or you could build it in the middle of a
with a
moat.
yeah, with a moat,
Yeah.
with no
So
entrance point.
maybe it's the fact that beavers are just uneducated. I don't know if we got a crew out there helping educate beavers, but we should really walk them through some things. Maybe we could just circumvent this whole dam situation if we dedicated some resources to that.
Also, they're really inefficient at chopping down trees with their buck teeth.
Are they?
Yeah, think about it. They're not lining it up like we do. They're just chipping at it until it falls over.
Well, it's also, it's an animal. So I'm
I'm
not
just
quite
saying, of
sure.
all the years of evolution, you'd think maybe they would have learned a better way.
Well, I think that we could convince them to not build dams quicker than to effectively cut down trees.
Maybe. You don't know that, you
I'm just
know?
saying we can't solve all their problems. We need to just pick one, and I think the dams are the bigger issue.
Dam
In
is
fact,
definitely the bigger issue.
I think in certain places, I can't be for 100% sure, but I think like this is going to be terrible, but like some real redneck areas that really do depend on these waters, like Mississippi, Alabama, like I think the beaver technically is a like
A
nuisance animal.
nuisance?
Not Yeah, not
Like a
quite like a
boar?
hog. Yeah, not quite like a hog or like a coyote, but fairly close because they do screw up big flows of water. And it's more for like drainage, I think, and like, field areas and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hay fields and stuff like that. But no, they're wrecking havoc, dude, because the dam will fuck some shit up real quick.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
sure,
It's so
I mean, I'm sure they're a nuisance a lot of places, not even just like stuff like that.
I think the difference is like they're doing it on purpose. Like, not that a hog's not, but like think about a pack of hogs. Like, yeah, they tear up a whole pasture because they're just randomly mowing, like just going through there looking for food, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a beaver very specifically is like, oh, this right here, yeah, I'm gonna dam that up, and I'm gonna stay here too, so that I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. Like that
Yeah.
seems really selfish, big-headed, if you will.
And so that I can continue to build upon it so that it never flows.
Yeah. I'm
I
gonna
remember,
store my
yeah,
food there, raise a family, because I'm just a badass, you
yeah.
know?
I remember years ago, back when the Duck Dynasty thing was big. I watched it, and there was an episode where they go out into the, I don't know if it was a river necessarily, but it was a water source, and there
Like
was
a
beaver,
swamp.
uh, kind of, but
Yeah.
not like super swampish. Uh, but there was just beaver dams everywhere, and they were just lighting them up with dynamite. And, and I was just like, man, on national television, huh?
Well,
We're just lighting up these beavers.
I'm telling you, it's like there. It's such a. I don't know. Think about that too. The other thing I was going to mention too is like imagine if like this is what I assume. I don't know how animals communicate, okay, but like a beaver would probably also be like an asshole of a boss, right? Like if let's say the beaver was like the construction foreman, because I feel like they're pretty smart, right? A beaver's pretty smart, within reason, okay. I mean, we're
Yeah.
trapping and drowning them. I mean, that's also we'll get to that in a minute. That's terrible. But most of the traps that trap them drown them. There's like a rod that holds them underwater until they die, which
Well,
is terrible.
that's horrible. Okay.
Well, listen, if you're a nuisance, anyways. So this is how important it is to some of these people. Anyways, yeah, I don't know how many flags that's gonna hit on that might be a cutout, but yeah, we'll leave it in.
No.
So um anyways, so I imagine he's the head of the operation, okay? And he's got like birds that are collecting shit. Imagine that all of Mother Nature believed in the dam, okay? And he's trying to keep this whole fragile workforce together. He would just be an asshole because he's gonna believe that he does it better than anyone else, right? No one's cutting down trees. Like, what animal is cutting down trees like a beaver?
None.
Exactly. So he's gonna be like, I'm the most biggest badass. And he's gonna be like, why do we not have reconstruction on phase 4, which is down at the mouth of the river? And there's gonna be some little squirrel, and he's like, dude, we're trying to make it through these branches, but we can't. And he's like, don't make me come down there and show you up, you son of a. And then, so now your beaver boss is an asshole. Again, I'm storing these all away for when we write Illumination with our script. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This seems like a topic that like Theo Vaughn or something would get on and be like, "Oh yeah, man, we knew I knew this kid growing up. His name was Bucky because he had some big front teeth and he was actually raised by beavers." You
He had
know, we I went over there one time. He was just out back cutting down a tree with his teeth. That's
he had an
just
uncle He had an uncle one time that got real offended by the shoes I was wearing because he thought they were made out of beaver.
yeah.
So
That just
yeah,
seems like something he'd say, you know? Oh,
so yeah. But anyways, yeah. So water, man,
yeah.
that's crazy too.
Wow.
That's the
The way
Theo
it
Von.
flows, just absolutely wild.
I mean, I don't
Um,
necessarily like it either, but
yeah. All right. Sorry. Anyways, yes, I think you're correct though. I think Beavers would definitely be that a-hole foreman. That's just. I mean, anytime I feel like a beaver is portrayed in an animated show or something, they always have a construction hat on, every
yeah,
single
and
time.
yeah, like maybe on the weekends they would smoke a cigar and enjoy whiskeys or something. Kind of that.
Mhm.
I get that vibe from a beaver. Are they mean and aggressive? I don't know.
I don't know. I know. What's the other little water? There's another animal that's like a beaver that's not a beaver, an otter.
It's an otter, yeah.
Yeah, otters are pretty cool. I've thought, or I've seen like videos of little baby otters swimming around and being pet and whatnot, and I'm like, man, if I could have one random pet, I think that might be it.
You know what it reminds me of, and I don't know if anybody else has said this, but it's like the ferret of the water.
An otter? Yeah, they
Yeah,
very much
it's like
are.
it weirds me out that they hold. Everybody always talks about it, but they hold hands so that they don't float away from each other. Um, so
Yeah.
apparently, apparently,
Apparently.
apparently, no. So, anyways, so the beaver, it won't really like attack humans, but if it's confronted or like you're a threat to its dam, which I would say that's 99% of human and beaver interactions,
Yeah.
um, it will attack if it's trapped or if it's cornered.
Okay, so retaliation,
Yeah,
aggression.
dude, they can also unleash 180 pounds of biting force per square inch.
Well, that's because they got them freaking airway teeth, bro. Them,
That's
mm,
that's roughly that's roughly triple that of a human. I don't know what that is to compare to alligators. That's obviously what we need to do the comparison on. But dude, like human teeth, think about biting somebody. That could do some damage, dude. Imagine if it was 3 times that. And I
and the
know they're
teeth
cutting
were much
trees.
bigger.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's some jaw strength if I've ever heard it. Out of that small of an animal?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know. They
they're not tiny, but they're not alligators.
also do for some reason. I just feel like they're a little more sophisticated because they're building dams. That seems like a little bit more educated. I know that it's just something they're instinctually built to do, but also like their front teeth kind of make them humanish. Like an alligator's not humanish at all, you know. But when you got front teeth that like look like ours, weirds me out a little bit.
They kind of got. I mean, you were mentioning squirrels earlier. The squirrels kind of got that same teeth, tooth layout as well.
Oh my good lord. Okay, so we're gonna talk about alligators in a second. Pfft, not even fucking close, bro. But anyway, and it's like mind blowingly far apart.
Well,
But
yes, alligators are incredibly strong.
yeah, but I mean, dude, it's not even remotely close. Like I thought the beaver
No.
would. I mean, beavers are cutting down trees. I know that it's a whole like action of their face or whatever, like or their bite or however they do it. They're educated or whatever. But the point that I was gonna make before this is now irrelevant. So the alligator has the strongest bite force. All right. So I just said that the human is like 65 to 80 is what they said. The beaver's 180 pounds per square inch. The alligator is 2,000 pounds per square inch.
Oh yeah, dude.
That
They're
seems
crushing everything.
ridiculous. Dude, you want to know what's crazy? Is the lion only comes in at 600. So
Oh
do
yeah.
that math, dude.
Oh yeah. That's almost 3 lions worth of pressure per square inch.
Good lord.
That's pretty
We
crazy.
sorry, we're down this rabbit hole. Continue with the point that I was trying to make or you were trying to make earlier.
I mean about the foreman. I think we already finished that one up.
Already sent that one home.
You know.
Oh my god. Dude, check this out. This is a whole separate rabbit hole we don't have time for today, but later on we should just in our own spare time. Homework. Everybody
Oh.
likes getting homework assigned every week. Um so the predator of the beaver is a coyote. Makes sense.
Yeah.
A fox, they can be a little savage. A bobcat, I get it. The great horned owl,
Okay.
okay. Maybe when they're babies. Guess what the last one is?
Mm, how you got to give me some kind of clue because there's no way I'm gonna guess this. Like
We've
how
already mentioned it, and it wasn't an alligator.
a squirrel,
Nope, but very close.
an otter?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, dude, and the otter seems way more approachable. In fact, if we go back to our Illumination slash Pixar movie, no offense to the beaver, no offense to anybody's profession, but the beavers are going to be the blue collar construction guys. His son wants to be a painter or whatever, some crazy shit because it's whatever.
Mm,
And he's going to go to an office building and an otter's going to be in a suit there. That's the
yeah.
impression that I get with an otter. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're the white collar per se.
Yeah, dude. Maybe it's just because they have more. Again, I don't even know why. I'm gonna find this out for my own personal sake, but I charge everyone to do the same. Like, go find out why otters are killing beavers. They do have more like raccoonish looking hands. The otter does. A beaver's more like a nutria rat, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I always
but the
forget about a
otter,
nutria rat.
that's a whole different ball game too.
That's
It's like a, it's like a,
that's also something Theo would have thrown into that bit.
it's like
100%.
a capybara mated with somebody on a subway. That's what a nutria
Nutria
rat is.
rat gang. You
Hmm.
know, nutria rat gang. Oh man. Yeah. Beavers are a-holes, man. Just stopping up currents, messing up the ecosystem for no reason other than greed. Just
Yeah,
because
dude.
they don't want it.
Dude, how crazy is this? I almost feel like in the same movie, I'm sorry that we keep referencing it, but there's too many things that are falling in place here. Um, so apparently this is how the otter this is how the otter kills so many beavers. It will kill them when they're cubs. I don't know if that's what they're officially called, but when they're babies. but also the otter is notorious for kicking the beaver out of its lodge and using it as its own home.
God.
So imagine this. Imagine that, like, the beavers in this whole movie situation, they try to stand up to the humans or they stand up to whatever. And the otters at first are like, we can't stand for this because they're building our houses for free. And then the beavers start getting real lippy with the otters, right? Real lippy. Like, oh,
Hmm.
we're about to take y'all down. And the otters are like, all right, screw it then. We'll team up with the humans because they think we're cute and cuddly and we hold hands so we don't float away from each other. And that's what happens. That's
Yeah.
how I see it going down. I'll work out the details, but that's how I see it going down.
They turn a beaver house into an otter mansion.
Yeah, and then, well, I'm just saying they side with the humans in this whole movie situation, but
Hmm.
just to spite the beaver, I feel like the otter's wired that way. If they're gonna steal their house and kill all their babies and live in it for free, then they would side with the humans strictly just to wipe the beavers off the face of the planet. That's my guess.
Yeah, they
I don't
just want to commit genocide.
know, of the beaver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there can't be two furry ferrets of the sea or of the water, you know.
Yeah, for sure. That was pretty
Sorry,
dark.
Whew. Sorry, we went down that path. I've never seen a ferret in the wild. It's so weird to think about domesticated, half-ass domesticated animals and just being wild. We've talked about this, I think, in the past, but can you imagine just coming up on like a pack of Dachshunds? How fucking weird would that be? You know?
Yeah, I've thought that so many times that I don't even know where ferrets come from. I mean, I'm 100% convinced that they were lab bred for human pleasure because I've
Yeah.
never seen one not outside of a cage.
Actually, though, the only way I know that it wasn't lab bred by for humans is because we would have like real quickly bred the smell out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's valid. That's one of their worst qualities.
Or why are we not? I know this has nothing to do with the beer, but why are we not working on that still? Like, we have dogs now that don't shed. Like, we basically were like, we love, man's best friend, but he sheds, so we're gonna put him down. And then they
No.
do that for a while.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. They do that for a while, and then eventually they come across something that doesn't shed, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be sought after," but it's extremely stupid. So then they try making it smarter. Eventually, we've come across a bunch of different concoctions: smart, doesn't shed, good at tasks, good at chores, insulated, whatever. I don't know how much work we're getting out of a ferret. Obviously, they don't work like dogs, but I feel like we could. We're humans, man. We could keep doing that. We could breed that stench out of them.
It- we have to. We have to be able to.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, listen, I have had bad experiences with ferrets, but the smell has been the worst part of them
100%.
by far. By far.
I'm just saying, like, I know gone are the days of truly, at least in the States probably, but gone are the days of like coming up on like a whole herd of, not quite sure if that's what it's called, but like a whole herd of like wild horses, right? That would have been a score back in the day. You bring them, you domesticate them. Like, I don't know naturally where that's occurring with like ferrets or, like I said, Dachshunds or any type of random ass animal that you think of.
Well, Dachshunds still have a. I don't know what a ferret's purpose is. Dachshunds
Yeah.
technically have a purpose. It's to tear up your backyard, but that's their purpose.
And stubbornly make you regret owning an animal. That's pretty much the purpose of a Dachshund.
Right, right.
I
My
feel
other.
like the experience with a beaver. Also, why did we just decide to domesticate certain things? Well,
Yeah,
it could
that's
have
what
been
I
a
was
beaver
gonna.
back in the gap.
That's what I was gonna say. Why did we like? Why are there also animals out there that are just not domesticated? Right? Like I understand some of. Well, I mean, technically, some like tigers and stuff are domesticated, but like, you know, no one's like domesticating a hippo, or like or a gorilla. You know what I mean? Or like an anteater. Never seen an anteater as a pet. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's probably the untold history. Like, I mean, it's not a history that was probably ever written down, just because that probably wasn't the most intelligent individual. But if you think about it, like, we domesticated the dog because that one worked. But there was
Yeah.
probably a bunch of humans that were like, man, this hippo, dude, he could pull like 15 different plows all at the same time, and then they tried for like generations and it wiped out like 15 family
An
trees.
entire
They're like,
colony.
yeah, we'll give up on the hippos. We'll find something else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, hippos probably would not work as a domesticated animal because they are so freaking strong.
And moody, dude. Like, here's the thing. You can be like, I know that, elephants can be angry too, but like in comparison, I feel like if I rolled up on an elephant, he'd be like, "Whoa, elephant." He'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 bro." And then you figure your stuff out, you move along. The hippo immediately was like, "Within 1,000 yards of my river? I don't think so, bro." You know?
Yeah, yeah. Elephants were like, "Oh, you're giving me some food? Hell yeah."
Yeah.
Hippos are like, "Oh, you're giving me food? Thanks. I'm gonna eat you as well."
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you fall asleep and ransack your village and eat all your vehicles. That's kind
Yeah,
of what a hippo would do, I think.
yeah. I guess it makes sense in that case, but there's a lot of small animals still that haven't been really domesticated either. You know,
I just,
not necessarily
you
just
know,
large ones.
I think the beaver probably would have been a great choice. They're always finding water, keeping water around
Or
collectively.
chopping, getting you firewood.
Good
Hello?
point.
You just let him out during the day, he chops down a couple trees, and then you come home and you're golden.
Dude, I'm not going to say it's the best animal that we missed out on domesticating, but it's got to be up there. I know that we haven't evaluated them all, and for obvious reasons, we're speaking of the beaver. But like, that's a good point, dude.
I
Think
mean, it
about
has a it
how
has a use. You know what I mean?
think about how quickly humans could have, progressed if we would have domesticated an animal that helped with firewood, home building, and resources such as water used for irrigation and just survival. I think we really missed out there.
Yeah. And even if it's only cutting down like one or two trees a day, it's still one or two more than you would have done. You
100%.
know?
Also, but we don't know. Like we just said, there's a whole group of people that were working on, domesticating the hippo that didn't make it. Rest in peace. Maybe
Yeah.
there were a lot working on the beaver and just threw up their arms and they were like, you know what? They're too
I'm over it.
stubborn. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So they just decided to go with the otters instead.
I don't know of any domesticated otters, but they definitely look. They make a better argument for themselves. Like, when's the last time? Like, I've never like come up on a beaver, which I have in the past, but like I've never come up on a beaver and been like, "Oh, that's cool." Let me snap a picture. But I know when you go see the otters at the zoo, immediately you're like, "Oh, look at this! These things.
Yeah.
They've got a heart and soul." Come to find out, they're soulless, and they probably ate the hearts of many beavers.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. It's a very sad reality that I've come across today. I'm a little sad about that.
Dude, just asshole squatters. Yeah.
Hmm.
Long live the beaver. Screw the otter, apparently. That's where I'm at.
Man, we flip flopped real quick in this episode.
I still feel like that we should have domesticated the beaver, and I'm more in support of the beaver than the otter now. But
It's because
it's
it
not like,
touches into my blue collar vein.
yeah, it's also not like I don't know when I'm gonna be at threat of a beaver. There's not gonna be a beaver knock on my door tomorrow and be like, "What'd you say, bud? You've been roughing us up." That's not happening.
But there's gonna be otters that are doing that.
I mean, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I meant an otter. An otter's not
Oh,
gonna knock on my door tomorrow and be like, "You talking shit?" That's not how that's gonna happen. I don't think I'm ever gonna be. Again, I don't know, but I doubt even if I run up on their dam and destroy it, I don't think I'm ever going to be vulnerable to a beaver or an otter.
maybe you don't know that. I forget what. It was another animated film, but there's an otter that gets like rabies. It's Zootopia,
Okay.
and there's
That's where I was thinking. I was thinking that, but I didn't go all the way there.
yeah, it's Zootopia, and one of the whole storyline is, I'm not going to describe it, but the otter is one of them that gets infected, and he just goes nuts when he's infected or whatever, and it's pretty terrifying. Not gonna lie. Like if I ran across that otter out in the wild, I would probably do everything in my power to stomp its head in.
I mean, I can see that. Also, man, listen, we should have really went down and looked up, at least for certain obvious reasons, what the size of What do you think a beaver is size wise? 3 to 4 feet,
I was gonna say
include
max
including
4.
tail though.
Yeah,
That's not very big.
it's bigger
They
than an
weigh
otter.
40 to 70. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Otters are the ferret is I mean the ferret is a water otter, but also the otter's kind of like the chihuahua. Dude, just scrappy little bastards. Smart, stealing people's houses and shit. Think about everything. This is a good point. Every house that a chihuahua lives in, kind of stolen by the chihuahua. So
Oh
they're very
yeah,
similar to the otter.
100%. Every single one of them, dude.
Dude, I love when like true websites get real comfortable with the way they explain an animal. This is alaska.gov, right? This is their fish and game website. Verbatim, here's how it reads. They grow throughout their lives and may reach 3 to 4 feet long, including tail. Although most adult beavers weigh 40 to 70 pounds, very old, fat, lazy beavers can weigh as much as 100 pounds. Nobody gut checked that before they posted it? How do you know he's lazy? Maybe he has a slow metabolism. Maybe he suffers from thyroid issues. God dang, just because he's old and fat doesn't make him lazy. Holy shit.
Also, dude, he's old. Like what? He's not out there running, bro. He's the foreman up top
Also,
watching all of them, bro.
also, too, if this dude has fought off that many otters throughout his life, let him be fat and old and
My man,
lazy for that matter.
my man has lived through how many otter attacks do you think?
Just because he's worked his way up the freaking construction ladder doesn't make him fat and old and lazy. Good Lord,
Oh
Alaska.gov.
man, they
I'm
took
out here trying to respect these animals, not freaking degrade them.
they took every shot that they could have.
Good Lord. Also, that those are very relative terms. I don't know what makes them old in proximity or fat, but lazy?
Yeah.
Rolling the dice.
How do you know they're old unless unless like you have them in captivity?
I don't know, but I would love to know, are they like running daily stats on what he's doing? Like, oh, some bitch didn't go out to swim for cardio this morning, fucking lazy
That's
bastard.
that's what I'm saying, bro. He's in captivity anyways. He's not doing regular beaver activities.
Yeah, well,
Like,
of course he's getting chunky. His food's coming to him. He's not going out and getting it. He
yeah,
hasn't built a dam in 30 years. He's got one
exactly.
made out of styrofoam and plastic. Anyways, the otter,
My man's got a
contrary,
dog glue, bro.
son of a, yeah, he ain't building that out of mud. That's stucco, big dog. That's what that is.
He graduated the construction ladder, man. Come on.
Um, the otter, contrary to that, is 10 to 33 pounds, regardless of how fat, dumb, happy, old, and lazy it is. And they're only 2.5 to 5 feet, so they're thinner, longer. Like I said, they're the ferrets of the water.
Oh my god, 5 feet?
Yeah, that
That would be.
includes tail.
Oh, okay.
Um, Also, in a different light than the beaver, the females are roughly 1/3 the size of the male.
Even if they are fat and lazy and old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, those are the ones that are probably getting the smaller females because they're well established. They got their shit figured out. They're way up higher on the ladder. They're no longer building their dams.
Yeah.
Zero threat. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh, that was
Yeah.
interesting.
I am
Lot.
glad we took that course, that everybody took that course. They've got homeworks on the otters and the beavers. It also sounds like it should be a college rivalry, or at least a frisbee golf competition.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. The Belching Beavers versus the Ottawa Otters.
Ottawa. I like the way that the beavers are belching again, fat and lazy, and then the otter yet again gets respect from being from some prestigious. I don't know how prestigious Ottawa is, but
Ottawan? An Ottawan?
belching beavers versus the outstanding otters.
Yeah. Well, they've earned it somehow by being
because they're
a-holes.
just because they're furry and cuddly, dude, just goes back to unrealistic standards. Look at what society does. I
Oh,
digress. That would also be played into the movie, but we probably should be easing into. I never get the like time call for WWYBD, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do the time call for WWYBD.
yeah, it's time.
You're in. You rock and roll first.
I'm in. Oh man,
Yes.
this is a tough one for me because I can genuinely see myself drinking this in a lot of settings. And it's going to be probably not anywhere close to what you were going to say, but I can, for some reason, I can see myself drinking this at like a ski lodge. I don't know why. You know, I don't know if it's the can playing a little bit of trick on me or something, but like it just seems like something I'm out on a ski trip or just like maybe like a snow a weekend in the snow or something. I'm not even really skiing. I'm just there, at the lodge. But yeah, I'm in there with my warm clothes on by the fire at the bar in the lodge, and I'm slamming these bad boys. Um, probably with friends. I don't know. I didn't see my friends there when I first stated it, so maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm meeting some people.
It's just you at the lodge meeting people, but without your friends.
Yeah, well, not like I'm purposely meeting people there, but like I meet someone there, like by mingling. So that's what I see. That's what I would be doing. I'd be at a ski lodge mingling. It also seems like maybe it's just a beer that would be in one of those kind of movies.
Oh yeah, I think for easy. I mean for sure. But I mean, if you were a member of a random movie like an extra on a set, you'd be enjoying it there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, in the background doing my own thing.
Mine is going to be super super specific, but it is super super accurate. So I see myself enjoying this beer in a massive cylindrical PVC tower while watching the Women's World Cup. It's lukewarm using paper bowling alley cups. That is where I'm enjoying this beer. When I opened the can, it said to me, warm tower beer in shitty free giveaway cups, Women's World Cup. I just had an experience one time, and this is all that I remember from it. So I never
Really?
had this beer before, but everything that I ingested that day and the experience that I had tasted like this can smelled when I opened it. So
So it was just from the smell alone.
yeah, but then when I drank it, I was like, oh yeah, that's what came out of that plastic, unwashed 10-year-old tube. I mean,
Maybe
but
it
in a good
was.
way. I know this is terrible that I'm saying this, but I enjoyed every second of that experience as I do this beer.
Okay, so it's a good thing.
100%. So that's my WWYBD.
All right. That was definitely two totally different scenarios.
Dude, to each his own. It just shows you how versatile of a beer it is.
Yeah. Again, I would be doing. I could drink this almost any time, but we do need to get to the ratings as well here. Um, I'll start again. I'm very impressed with this. I didn't really get to see the color much when you poured it. I didn't really. Okay.
Yeah, you do what you wish with that information.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give it a 5 on entry. I think it's pretty solid personally. I'm drinking it straight out of the can. I'm not pouring it, so take that into account. Aftertaste 5. I think it's great. Leaves a good taste in my mouth. Keeps me coming back for more. Body 4. I mean it's solid. Nothing super super crazy, but still very delicious. The color after seeing that, I dropped it down to a 2. It was
Yeah,
pretty pretty light in its
yeah.
color, which I mean it says light, but that's not what it should be. um, Bitterness, I got it at a 5. I think it's pretty spot on for this. Acidity, a 5 as well, and fizz, man, the fizz was a 5 for me.
Really?
Yeah, the burps never they never seceded.
What do you have? What do you have total?
31.
Okay, so we differ a good bit here, which normally when we're speaking the same language throughout the podcast, um, we don't differ so much. But I have valid reasoning for why I think it's off. It's still a great beer. I honestly am more surprised. I thought it was going to be just kind of, yeah, bland, whatever. It's not. So entry, I have a 5. Aftertaste, I have a 5. I almost wish that we had a separate category for like, or not a separate category, but I feel like I explain this every week and you do the same thing. Like, if entry starts at a 5 and finishes at a 5, that's a good sign
Yeah,
because that doesn't mean that it starts amazing and drops off or it starts terrible and then gets better. You see what I'm saying?
it's
So entry at
consistent.
a 5, yeah, it's consistent. Entry at a 5, aftertaste at a 5. Body, I have it a 3. I kind of shaved a little bit of body and fizz for the head reasoning and the fullness of the foam, but body I've got at a 3. Color, I got it a 2. It
Yeah,
just basically not much there. Bitterness, I have at a 4. I think it could have had a little more bite to it. Acidity, I have as at a 5. Fizz, I have at a 2. So you could split. You could have a 3 for fizz and 2 for body. Nonetheless, it's getting 5 points between body and fizz, just because it needed thicker um, foam throughout the beverage. And I did have some burps. I think maybe the foam could have played into that, but it only gets a total of 26, but like I'm definitely going to drink it again. And all joking aside, it's going to be before the next Women's World Cup. Um,
yeah.
but I will enjoy it again.
Which actually, I think the next Women's World Cup is next year, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is a limited, so it's not like I'll be able to
Mm,
fill massive PVC tubes full of it.
yeah, that's true. That is very true. Well, so a 31 and a 26. Again, both of us would definitely drink it again. Um, man, I didn't. The burps were solid for me though. They came on
Uh,
quick and they stayed pretty.
I had some early on, but I didn't get them. They didn't finish throughout the episode. Could have been what I ate this afternoon. Could have been diet,
Oh,
whatever. I'm not knocking them for that. I just feel like it would have been nice to have a little more foamy or any type of
yeah,
in the back throughout the rest of it. They kind of went like flat. Again, that might be not something that happens on draft. It might be the cans were abused. We don't ever know. But that, I got to go off of what I got.
and I will say also that I know I've said this for a few episodes now, but I think it's a good point that if you are starting to get into craft beer, this is a really good starting point because
Oh,
it's a very like generic tasting, but with a little hint of craftiness to it. But it's not too much.
wait, I'm glad you bring that up. I don't want to go off on another tangent because Lord knows we've just been word like mouth vomiting for an hour. But there's two things I would say. One, there's kind of three different mindsets. There's like people that are super crafty that are like, oh, if it's not brewed in a barrel in a dark basement above somebody's whatever, then it's not a good beer. Okay, that's the
Yeah,
first person. The second person is the one that is straight mainstream that doesn't want to dabble because they all taste disgusting. Okay.
yeah,
And I think there's those that are in the middle. Like I can drink a generic mass produced whatever, Carlsberg. It's great. I enjoy it. And then some of the crafty stuff, a little too crafty for me. Or we talk all the time about I love this beer because it doesn't have a craft note, or I like this beer because it's a Mexican lager, but it does have a craft note, whatever the case may be. This is a very good gateway slash segue of if you're coming from one to the other, or even if you're super crafty and you want to dabble in something that's lighter or something that's a little mainstream, slip off and have you one of these. It's a
yeah.
it's a common ground. So yeah, kudos to Belching Beaver on that, kind of making that common ground for people to ease their way in, or if they don't want to be ashamed of themselves, ease their way out.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, well, we've gotten to that point in the episode where I'm gonna tell you to go follow us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
And I shall wrap it up. Leave it to Beav Light. The sensation is might and nice. A finish as smooth as the murky waters blocked. Driving forces have knocked. Off branding? Unfiltered, unpasteurized, unpremium, and unenjoyed? I think not. Rock on, you hairy harvesters. We ought not wish lusterless taste to the masses.